like contract labor, construction worker, child labor, bonded labor, and migrant labor, they are also deprived of exercising their adult franchise and participating in the voting process, which is very much required. And we demand that all these workers, as these facilities of giving voting right has been given to higher level workers and also businessmen, the same rights should be given to the workers also, either they are inside the country in other state or outside the country, any state. The South Asian worker should also get that right so that they can also participate in the process of democracy. I think I just want to say one more thing here. Like in Tamil Nadu, recently, in Tamil Nadu, we have been able to rescue around hundreds of workers from Algeria and from Odisha workers also from Central Africa, South Africa, and BWI also has opened the helpline anywhere, any place where there is a problem of migrant labor. We are trying to help them, and I do expect those who are taking more interest in democracy may work in any country, but we have to think seriously that these workers, working class, who constitute a major percentage of the population and whose contribution for building the nation is immeasurable, they should not be marginalized. Their democratic rights should not be suppressed, and we all should work for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Khuntia. Okay, thank you very much, Brother Khuntia. Next, I would like to call on our sister from Sewa, Ms. Manali Shah. She is the Vice President of Sewa, which is an affiliate of the International Trade Union Confederation, of which the United States Trade Union Center, the AFL-CIO, is also an affiliate. She has a bachelor's degree in commerce and a law degree from Gujarat University, and she began working with Sewa more than 20 years ago, handling legal cases for the women workers who are Sewa members. Manali is now also the head of the Urban Union, which organizes women workers in 4 categories: vendors, labor and service providers, home-based workers, and small-scale producers. Her work now includes liaison and negotiation with the government's labor, police, and welfare departments, employers and their associations, coordinating legal cases to implement existing policies and labor laws, and formulating lobbying and advocacy for new policies and legislation for the unorganized sector. So I would like to ask Sister Manali to join us here. Let me turn that off. I may need a little help figuring this out.
Thank you, team. I have divided my presentation in 3 parts. One is about the informal economy. Second is about our struggle with the street vendors. And the third one is about the waste recyclers. So in India, out of total workforce, 94% is in the informal economy, out of which 60% are the women workers. The livelihoods of these women workers and the informal sector are highly diversified, unstable, and unsustainable. Lack of work security and income security makes them more poor and vulnerable. Further, they are not protected under any laws, and hence they are prone to be to the poverty. We self-employed Women's Association, SEWA, was established as a trade union in 1972. SEWA is a women's trade union, and we are a national union also. We have organized 1.8 million women workers in 14 states. Informal sector in India is highly diversified and encompasses lot of workers. Either they are working on roads like street vendors, waste recyclers, home-based, or, sorry, I made some mistake. Yeah. Waste recyclers, home-based, or selling their services or labor like construction workers, headloaders, agriculture workers, or are working in their homes like ready-made garments. These are the incense stick rollers. Or may have 1 or 2 cattle or a small farm. SEWA, to facilitate the process of organizing this vast unorganized sector, divided it in the 4 categories, namely home-based workers, labor and service providers, street vendors, and producers. We follow Gandhian values. Our main objective is to organize these women workers of the informal economy with a twin goal of full employment and self-reliance. For us, full employment for women means that the women gets work security, income security, food security, and social security, at least childcare, healthcare, and shelter. And this vast informal economy contributes a lot to our economy. If we can see some of the figures, they contribute 62% of the GDP, gross domestic product, 50% of the total savings in the country, and 39% of the exports of the country. But still, these women workers face poverty. Poverty is a passive form of violence. When a woman does back-breaking work for 10 hours a day but cannot feed family with her earnings, society has scorned her labor. Thus, poverty is with the consent of the society. SEWA strongly feels that if women are secured economically, they will be less subjected to violence. We at SEWA translate this into Dusri Azadi, that is second freedom. This can be done through work security and income security. And how can the work security and income security be achieved? We organize them as a women, as workers, and as poor, no matter what caste or religion or community they belong to. Thus, all the campaigns, activities of SEWA are targeted to achieve second freedom. Organizing is not done to fight against employers or contractors or government, but this collective strength is used to fight against poverty and injustice. We at SEWA believe that our members just do not remain as the worker, but they become owners, users, and managers of their own trades. To achieve this, we have adopted an integrated approach that is strategy of struggle and development. Struggle is the sense to build up the collective strength of these poor women workers to fight against injustice and poverty through unions, and development by formation of their economic institutes like cooperatives. So I would like to give you the example of this street vendor. She's our vice president also, Shantaban. Street vending as a profession has been existence in India since time immemorial. Near 2 to 2.5% of the population of the city are street vendors. Urban vending is not only a source of employment for women, but provide affordable services to the majority of urban population. But they are seen as obstruction, nuisance, and unlawful entities, and are subjected to continuous harassment by police and authorities. In the current changing scenario of the city's urbanization, the bridges are being constructed, the roads are being widened, good transport systems are being made. But at whose cost? The poor. The vendors that constitute a major portion of our economy are not reflected. Seva took up the fight to legitimize these vendors. It took us 40 years to achieve this. It started with a sitting demonstration, Dharna, in the old walled city of Ahmedabad, from where I come. We filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court. After a long legal battle, the Supreme Court accepted the right of vendors to vend and ordered municipal corporation to provide them vending space. And till they are not provided the vending space, they will have to right to vend and current vending space on road. This was a landmark victory of Seva. But this was just the beginning. The police and municipal corporation were harassing in other markets where these vendors are vending. This was because the laws were not favoring acknowledging the vendors. The struggle was then taken up at the national level and international level, because a vendor in Durban or in Nepal or in Korea or in Delhi facing the same problem as the vendor of Ahmedabad city. So we formed a national alliance of street vendors at the national level and a street net at the international level. The main reason was that government authorities, planners failed to understand the vendors and their natural market. That is, in the residential area, there are fruit, vegetables, and other utilities vendors. Near park, there are balloons, small toys, and eatable vendors. The removal of all of them means much lower income of the vendors, disturbance for consumers, and economic rhythm of the city totally disturbed. The poor people and informal sector will be removed from the city, and it is not an inclusive growth. The main work was to advocate at the national level to frame a law protecting the rights of street vendors. As a result, a national policy for street vendors was enacted by the central government. The government was not keen to implement this national policy. Moreover, policy takes legal backing and policy lacks legal backing, and poor vendors come last for the state government, so the national policy remained on the paper. And the plight of the vendors got worse. they were evicted, goods confiscated, they lost their livelihood. We filed public interest litigation at the state level, and as a result, the scheme for vendors of my city was framed. A biometric survey was conducted for the vendors. But still, this is not enough. So, Seva advocated for the central law for the street vendors. For this, also we had to struggle hard. The government had to frame the Model Act, as the central government believed that the vendors were the state issue. Like national policy, the Model Act lacking legal backing would be difficult to implement at the state level, and the position of the street vendors would have remained precarious. Seva therefore advocated for the central law for the street vendors, and after a lot of convincing presentation before the Parliamentary Standing Committee and the hunger strike, finally got both the houses of Parliament unanimously passed the Central Act, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood and Regulation of Street Vending Act 2014. For the vendors, it came on 5th March 2014. This was a major victory of Seva and the street vendors of India. But this struggle is not over. We will have to fight at the state level to get the state rule drafted. These are the pictures of the celebration. So now I'm going to talk about another group, that is waste recyclers. They are more invisible, voiceless, and the poorest of poor and most vulnerable of all informal trades. These are the waste recyclers. In early morning, before we wake up, we can see a woman carrying a sack on her back or on head, collecting garbage from the stack near our homes. She picks up the waste paper, torn shoes, broken glass, wood pieces, and thin polythene bags, even human hair from there. She is not alone. According to the World Bank, every year there is an estimated 30 million tons of solid waste and 4,400 million cubic meters of liquid waste that is being generated in urban areas of India, and approximately 1% of the urban population is engaged in the activities related to waste collection, segregation, and disposal, and are known as waste recyclers. Waste recyclers, as I told you, pick up all type of waste, then they segregate this waste and sell it to the scrap shop owner. She barely managed to earn 30 rupees to 70 rupees, $1 a day, sometimes less than that. Thus, waste picker women play a vital role in the society by keeping our surroundings clean and healthy, to the extent of supporting the idea of recycling of various items found in the garbage, and thus saving environment and natural resources. Seva adopted the development approach for holistic upliftment of these workers. In India, urban local bodies are responsible for providing municipal service and civic amenities, including municipal solid waste management, right from the collection, segregation, transportation, scientific treatment, and disposal of waste generated in the cities or towns. Seva initiated cooperative of waste recycler, that is Gitanjali, in the past had pioneered the system of door-to-door. This is the waste pickers are collecting the waste from house to house. System of door-to-door waste collection. The waste recycler pick up waste from door to door, segregate it. The wet waste was thrown in the municipal bins, and the dry waste was collected and sold to scrap shop. The women waste recyclers were able to earn 3,500 to 4,000 rupees in a month for working for 4 hours a day. This was a steady income and the living standards improved. But unfortunately, municipal corporation privatized the work, and these waste recyclers were back on the roads, on the street. The profit earned by the private companies are concentrated in the hands of owners, whereas the cooperative, the profits are distributed amongst the shareholders. As if this was not enough, during the same period, 2008, the financial crisis hit these waste recyclers a lot. Sonia told me that I don't have much time, so I will just cut down my presentation. So to overcome the recession, we started a stationery unit in the cooperative, which makes files, notepads from the recycled paper, thus saving our natural resources. The daughters and the daughter-in-laws of the waste recyclers are given the training to prepare the marketable stationery item. Currently, the cooperative caters to many international brands like Cisco, Staples, Giftlinks, Mindtree, Accenture, etc. This has not only developed new skills in them, it provided them with a sure and steady income. Women workers utilize this income in educating their children, eating nutritious food, and shelter and savings. The living condition improved. As a result, their confidence was boosted and they got empowered. The standing in a society increased and they entered in a mainstream. The need of the day is to encourage organizing and facilitate the formation of associations, unions, member-based organizations of this informal sector, women workers, and ensure their representation. The city belongs to all strata of society. Social integration is required for the inclusive development of cities. Therefore, it is essential that laws, policies, schemes should be inclusive of the poor. This way, the employment of poor will be preserved and they will get much needed voice, visibility, and validation. Thank you.
Thank you.